What is secular humanism? 15 seconds. Secular humanism is an ethical philosophy based on reason and science. It's a way of life for modern humans who want to live ethical, meaningful, and happy lives without superstition, religious dogma, or guilt. Sound good to you?
Yes.
15 seconds. We are the secular humanists. Now, that does not mean that we don't have people in our group who may or may not believe in God. But we don't run away from the A word. And we stick with it, and most of us are atheists. I'm trying to think of anybody in our organization who calls themselves an agnostic. Can't think of one. We have a few people. I discovered humanism because political reasons. I saw my country in the early 1990s going off the track with religious nuts in coming into power, positions of power. And then, as Neil deGrasse Tyson very cleverly pointed out, religion is a phenomenon with a ever diminishing sphere of influence.
Yes.
It covers less and less and less of the human experience. So I've talked to you about what I think about secular humanism. It's humanism as you define humanism, but we lean towards the secular, the non-theist, the non-believers. Rather than me just talking now, why don't I ask for comments or questions about that?
What's valuable to me about secular humanism are the values. And I don't think that I can justify them in any ultimate sense the way religion would do that. I'm not even interested to do that. I'm not even an atheist. It's not even, there's no point to being an atheist. There's no evidence that God has been here lately, and there's no evidence that he's going to be here soon. So what are we going to do in the meantime? Is, get along and, do some, projects together that seem to make sense and that are consistent with our values.
But how do you address I don't even know if there's a word for it, the feeling that you're part of an intentional universe?
You're right. So many atheists, and of course theists. There are a lot of people who need this. I don't kid myself that, at least I think it would be kidding myself, to think that I'm part of some grand design or motive, but I think it's simply, I don't know, it's almost like right-handed or left-handed or something like that. Different people, different strokes for different folks, okay, or whatever. And certainly, as I quoted Roger Scruton, it's real consolation. It is real consolation. By the way, I know we have to wind up, but I feel very strongly about this. Humanism is not a religion. It is a philosophy. And as a matter of fact, when I took the 3-year Humanist Institute leadership course, one of our sessions, all-day session, was with Lori Lippman Brown, who was the first, the founding director of the Secular Coalition for America, and she was our Free Thought community's first lobbyist in the halls of Congress. And she said something that I pass on to you. You need an elevator speech. How many times have you had somebody say, what is secular humanism? What is humanism? Forget secular. What is humanism? And you go, blah, 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 blah. And I suggest that you be ready with 15, 30, and 60-second versions of whatever you believe in, so that when somebody says to you, what is this you're talking about, that you have it.